Hi, I'm Tom Korn, Senior Vice President, Security Products at VMware. Security is a topic playing out in boardrooms all over the world. It is one of the hottest topics and most serious issues facing organizations the world over. When we think about the fundamental challenge of securing critical applications and data, it's that these applications and data are actually made up of and connected to and leveraged by endpoints and workloads. They go across the network. We have users accessing these. Some of these elements are in public cloud. And so this breaks down into a whole host of activities in our organizations. For example, the InfoSec team is looking at how can we harden the endpoints and workloads. How can we prevent malware and attacks from starting up and infecting these points? And how can we detect and respond to attacks that circumvent the preventive measures that we're putting in place? Significant set of issues. Desktop services teams are involved in this battle, chiefly looking at how do we manage posture of these devices and how do we manage access of the users and the devices to these applications based on trusting the device and trusting the user is who they say they are. Network teams are involved in this. They're very heavily involved in how can you compartmentalize these environments so that from a network perspective, the blast radius is small, and if one piece is infected, it can't just spread throughout the whole environment. And then, of course, how can you look at malicious traffic that is traveling east-west among the elements that make up this application? And of course, even the cloud teams are involved, largely around the configuration of the public cloud elements that are supporting these applications. The big problem we're facing is that these really suffer from a few structural problems. One of those structural problems is that this is a very siloed environment, right? We have these teams don't really work well together because they're each using their own sets of tools and their own sources of truth. They have multiple products for every single one of these elements, and they don't connect well together. Another problem we have is it's very threat-centric. And so any one of these elements really doesn't have a lot of context about the applications and infrastructure, and it's very difficult to secure what you don't understand. And it's incredibly bolted on. You know, we build infrastructure not knowing what applications we're going to run in the future, and then once we build the applications, we tell the security team to go secure them. And it's a very difficult position to try to do at the end. Right? And it results in, bolted on tools and agents for every single one of these activities. And the misconfiguration and misalignment of these controls is contributing to a huge part of the problem. Over 90% of breaches leverage misconfiguration and misalignment of these controls. Somehow, we really need to change the structure of the problem to really transform security. Now, interestingly, VMware has really become the sort of digital foundation for any device, any app, and any cloud, right? We build the fabric that is used to virtualize compute, network, and storage, and then increasingly a common control plane across public clouds so that hybrid cloud is really a possible thing to run. We are with solutions like Workspace ONE, and we're managing the posture of devices and managing access on those devices. And of course, with Pivotal and a lot of the assets around our solutions in that arena, we really are becoming sort of the modern application framework of choice to build, deploy, and run applications. What that's really given us is some very interesting control points. Things like NSX and the network switch, with vSphere and the workloads, with Workspace ONE managing users and devices, and solutions like Secure State managing the configuration of these clouds. What that's given us is some very, very unique control points with which to understand the application that we're really ultimately trying to protect, and has given us the right camera angles, if you will. What workloads compose this application? How do they communicate? What network services do they consume? Which users are connecting to those applications? What devices are they using? What is the posture of the devices? It's exactly the kind of context that you'd want to really understand and be able to secure that application, and all the right control points to enforce security decisions on that. And as a result, it has put us on a very unique opportunity to break down the silos and unify more of security with solutions like Carbon Black. And our Carbon Black solution is helping InfoSec teams harden, prevent, detect, and respond, and take what was once many different tools that were isolated and unify them into a platform that connects the dots between those, that can make them connected use cases as they should be. Or Workspace ONE, which is really helping desktop services teams manage posture and manage access to really solve that problem in a unified manner. Or NSX, to really unify the various pieces for compartmentalizing and addressing malicious traffic inside. And Secure State, for dealing with how do we manage the configuration of the public cloud elements of this. And it allows us to move from a model that is very threat-centric to more broadly context-rich. Context not just about threat, but about the applications and the infrastructure that makes up that application, so that you can really understand what it is that you're protecting. And lastly, it allows us to make security far more built-in. That getting rid of agents, getting rid of all the appliances by being able to build into vSphere, into NSX and the virtual switches, into the management platforms for the devices and for the users, and build even into the applications themselves. This shift from siloed to unified, from threat-centric to context-centric, from bolted on to built-in, is really the elements that is allowing us to really fundamentally transform security. I hope this has been useful. I'm Tom Korn. Thank you.